Just, so you're saying that you're thinking that shamanism and spiritual iridology would work well together?
I think it would because there are certain fibers structure in the eyes, and so see if someone has a really deep dark blue eye, then there are spaces in between the fibers, and the space in between the fibers goes right in behind almost to where the pupil is. It's not the same physiologically, but the space in between the fibers goes right into the soul and the spirit of the person. And if you're looking person's pupil, then the spirit comes right through and the soul comes right through, and you can actually receive information as though you were looking into a crystal ball.
The volume just went up for some reason, but that's no problem. Yeah, I mean, that's part of why I would love to share iridology with people, because we've both been practitioners for a long time. I haven't done it for a while, but I did it for thousands of people. And from the moment I looked into a person's eyes, even before I took iridology, just looking at somebody's eyes, but then when you got in there with a magnifying glass and stuff, like you said, it went way beyond what I was taught with Dr. Jensen or Dr. Christopher. It was like, whoa, there's just, and that's what I would like my students to do, is I would like them to look into eyes, like, and have obviously have some structure to work with, which is what you could offer.
Right, right. Yes, yes. Well, there's just so much to it. That's that particular iris, the person would be very sensitive and very open to receiving information and energy. And so that's where it connects with the shamanistic teachings and sharings, is that they will receive the energy openly. Whereas if you have another iris where the fibers are very tight and close together, that person is a little more objective. They might not be open to believing what you say, and they would be more resistant to receiving and taking on energies.
Cool. Yeah, I remember that very clearly when I mean, we called one a flower and one something else when we first started out, and one's also more sensitive. And so when you were counseling them, you could also counsel them to the fact that, yeah, it's not in their head, or they're not, it's just a reality. They're just more sensitive. And then the other one is also just, physically stronger, but not necessarily reading feedback, so can end up having problems, from that point of view, in the sense that they don't listen to their body, they don't listen to their environment, they just, because they're really strong and healthy, but then they can then all of a sudden, I was taught the flower can outlast the oak or whatever it's called, because the flower learns how to adapt to the environment and to.
Exactly. So the sensitivity brings their awareness to doing something about it. Whereas if they have, what's called a neurogenic iris, and the fibers are very tight together, and they're more resistant to information, they're also more resistant to taking advice, really. And so they are not necessarily stronger, but they can be resistant to healing, resistant to information, resistant to healing, resistant to open things. So there is no perfect iris. It's all what we do with what we have, and also realizing it's our soul that is speaking through the iris. Into a person's